JP Morgan recently warned of a drop in the S&P 500 to 6,000, almost a 10% drop from where we're at now, around 6,600. They also cut their year-end target from 7,500 in the S&P to 7,200. So a little bit of worry in the market as it stands. At the same time, Goldman Sachs warned that we could see levels all the way down to 5,400, which is about a 22% drop from the January peak, but they did keep their bull case of up to 7,600 for the year's end. Lots to discuss, lots to unpack here. 2026 has already been crazy for the markets for a number of reasons, but let's dive into the numbers with a little bit of options analysis with our math check. All right, so we are here today talking about the S&P 500. A couple of pretty strong cases were stated to the upside and downside. We're looking at a potential bull case of around 7,600-ish. We'll give it a range of 7,200 to 7,600. And to the downside, we have a much wider range from 5,400 to 6,000. So a lot of big name analysts giving us a much wider range of possibility for the year, and we shouldn't be surprised by that. We're seeing the VIX hold at above 20. We're seeing the VIX futures in backwardation almost continuously. We've been sliding in and out of backwardation and contango. Backwardation is simply when the near-term contracts are trading for a higher value than the next-term contracts, and that generally signifies real fear, and especially in the S&P 500 and the VIX itself, or the VIX futures themselves. So we're going to take a look at the tastytrade platform here. If you like these math checks, please like this video, subscribe to the tastylive YouTube channel. It helps us out a lot. But you know, everyone's going to have their assumptions. Everyone's going to have their opinions. There's a lot of people throwing out some pretty big numbers, and it's always good to come back to the markets, look at these numbers themselves, and see what the numbers say, see what the probabilities say here, because we're looking at a pretty wide range of outcomes, all the way up to 75, 7,600, and all the way down to as low as 5,400, which is pretty big, and we haven't seen those levels since the tariff scare of 2025. So let's dive in here, and we're going to talk about a couple of different things. So first things first, it depends on where you're looking, if you're looking at these probabilities, and especially if you're trying to evaluate something like call skew or put skew. So let's take a look at the E-mini futures first. So /ES is where we're looking right now on the Tasty platform. One of my favorite things about the Tasty platform is the organization of futures contracts. So sometimes it can be a little overwhelming when you're looking to trade futures in general, but not so much on tastytrade, because we do a good job of organizing the current contract. So with the ES, we're looking at ESM6. We can see all of these similarly shaded options contracts here go all the way out to the 85-day cycle, and that's kind of when we shift into a new last price, which tells us that we are now trading options that settle to a different contract. So first things first, we're going to look at the difference in value of these E-mini futures contracts. So our current active contract, the M contract, is trading at 6,600, and the next contract is trading at 66.56. So right off the bat, you can see the further out in time you go, we're dealing with a lot of different prices in these contracts, and we have to account for those differences in prices when we're looking at probabilities. So for this analysis, this math check here, I think we're going to look at the near-term contract, which takes us out to 66 days. End of May, things are heating up. Maybe we'll see some resolution globally, maybe not. If these things continue, I think we're going to continue to see strain on the E-minis and the Nasdaq for sure. But let's just take a look at the probabilities for the latest cycle, 66 days out, that still settles to the 6,600 price of the M contract. So we're going to look at May 29th, and we're just going to look at some of these probabilities. If you're on tastytrade, you can shift these columns here. So we're looking at in the money probability percentage here. We're also looking at the probability of touch. So these are the primary things we're going to look at when we're trying to place probabilities around a market reaching a certain level to the downside or upside. We're also going to use the pricing of these options to determine if there is a skew in either direction. So first, let's look at in the money probability. Let's look at the call of 6,000. So the 6,000 strike with 66 days left to go, plenty of time for things to work out, and that's being reflected in the probability of this option being in the money. As it stands, we've got about a 21% chance that this option expires in the money. In other words, the market is down at 6,000 by the end of this options contract 66 days from now. So a pretty hefty probability, and that's especially true if you look at the probability of touch, which is typically twice the rate of the probability of an option being in the money if that option is out of the money, or you're looking at out of the money options when doing this analysis. So to put it simply, if I have a 21% probability of an option being in the money, I'm going to have about a 42% chance, or double that value, of the option being tested or touched at any point during that period of time. So you might be surprised to see this number being so high, but at the same time, we're dealing with a heightened implied volatility environment, and when we deal with these heightened implied volatility environments, what you're going to see is the probability curve and those tail probabilities really inflate and give us a higher probability than you might expect. Looking further down the board here, if we look at the 5,400 call, that is still pretty elevated. I mean, a 9% chance that this option expires in the money is nothing to scoff at, and especially when you look at this 18% or 19% probability of touch on this option. So if you look at flipping a coin and you expect to have a 50-50 probability, you've run this 1,000 times. In other words, you're going to have 20% of these times where the option is touched, or the market actually gets down to that level. So I would say that given this downside analysis, it would not be surprising at all if we actually did get that bear move and we went down to 6,000 or even lower, especially when we consider the time frame here of 66 days, which is the longest dated options contract for the E-mini futures, at least right now in this market. So yeah, pretty big possibility that we get a move down there. And what we're going to see here, what I really want to look at, is the upside. So what if things settle globally? What if we start to get some good numbers across the board when it comes to the economics of it all? What are our probabilities of reaching this pretty high level of 7,000, 7,700 to the upside? What's really interesting is if you look at these near-term or closer strikes, I should say, of 7,000, you look at a pretty similar probability of 20%, but when you look at the distance between 6,600 and 6,000, which is 600 points, and then you look at 5,400 and 6,000, which is 1,200 points here, you're looking at a pretty big difference in proximity to the current market versus a similar probability of being in the money with a 7,000 strike or even a 7,200, which is reflective of that downside 5,400 strike that we looked at earlier. So almost a 2-to-1 move here. If we look at 7,200 being 600 points to the upside, and then we look at the 7,800, if we were to do the same example of 1,200 points to the upside, there's almost a 0% probability that we get that move to the upside, and you can see that in the options pricing here. So 6,000, which is 600 points to the downside in the E-mini futures, we're looking at 85 points of premium. The upside, same move, 600 points to the upside for the 7,200 call in the same expiration cycle, we're looking at 15 points in premium. So 86 to 15 is a huge put skew in the favor of the bears in terms of probability of going to the downside, or at least where risk is being priced in that skewed environment. So if you don't know what skew is, that's really what it is. If you look at a current price of 6,600 in the E-minis and you go 600 points out of the money in either direction, where is that option priced the highest? And in this case, we are absolutely looking at a massive put skew here in this market with a 85-point put option and a 15-point call option. And then again, if you look at the downside, another 600 points, 5,400 to the downside, 66 days to go. We're looking at a 35-point option there, and then a 70-cent option or a dollar option there to the upside. So massive, massive difference in premium here. And for this analysis, I'd have to say the market is pricing in the velocity of risk, or skew, to be to the downside through May 29th. And if we look further at the end of the year, maybe we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt and say, by the end of the year, through the summer, through the holidays, maybe that's when we get our year-end rally. Let's do the same thing here. So December 31st, what is our probability and what does the skew look like for the 6,000 strike, the 5,400, and then if we go to the upside, the 7,200 and the 7,800. So just keeping it symmetrical. I know the calls are a little bit different to the upside here, but seeing a lot more probability priced in, of course, at the end of the year for the bull case up to 7,800, seeing a much higher probability of the 7,200 call, which is actually within the current expected move in the 282-day cycle. But again, we're dealing with a different price here with these E-mini futures options at 67.75 for this longer term contract. But again, if you look at the downside for the end of the year, it's actually pretty symmetrical. We're dealing with a 245-point option at the 6,000 strike, which is ultimately the same value as the upside at 7,200. So a lot more pricing in for some more bear market territory in the near term through May, at the end of May, but a lot more neutral kind of 50-50 coin flip action for the end of the year to the upside versus the downside here. But if you go even further, the 5,400, 142 points, and then the upside here at 7,800 strike, we're looking at 64 points. So within 600 points, it's basically a coin flip for the end of the year. But if you go another 600 points out of the money, we're still pricing in more velocity of risk to be to the downside. So with all that to be said, a lot of numbers flying around here. But in the near term, through the end of May, we're looking at a massive pricing in of risk to the downside with both options that we looked at, 600 points out of the money and 1,200 points out of the money. But as you zoom out further in the year, closer to December, we're looking at about a 50-50 coin flip based on the pricing and the probabilities here between 6,000 and 7,200. And we're still seeing a little bit of a put skew here where the puts that are far out of the money are priced in a lot higher than the calls out of the money. And I think that's especially interesting when you consider the fact that these markets are going to price in interest rates on the call side. So we're currently at that 3.5. They're pricing in maybe a 4.0 interest rate hike by the end of the year. Very small probability, but still, that will juice up the value of these call options as you go further and further out of the money. So I think there's something to be said there. But again, we'll see what happens. Implied volatility can tell us a lot about these markets. And right now, implied volatility is super high. So find those opportunities, be patient, keep that risk small. But hopefully this analysis helped, and we'll see you next time.